this something that you like? And I can feel you glaring, cause I'm so far out of sight.
Progress is not linear. Seemingly positive changes in the landscape of a city do not benefit all areas equally. Today, we will explore one such neighborhood. If you're new here, my name's Diana, and today we're building the city of Arcadia in Cascadia Bay, a city skylines series set in the Pacific Northwest. Nestled between downtown and the port of Arcadia is North Arcadia. This neighborhood has seen better days. Up until about 50 years ago, North Arcadia was a vibrant center of culture and nightlife, whose prosperity was driven by subsequent waves of migrants from all over the US and the world coming to the city to work high-paying jobs at the nearby port in logistics, fishing, and manufacturing. For the majority of this build, I'm taking heavy inspiration from the neighborhood of West Oakland in the San Francisco Bay Area. But given the different geographic setting, I've taken a lot of liberties in the design and story of North Arcadia. Arcadia had been linked to its larger neighbor of Astoria via a regional subway system since the early 1900s. While North Arcadia had excellent access to public transit via a streetcar line that was later converted to buses, it had long been excluded from the greater metro system linking the region. In the 1960s, the plans for North Arcadia Station were made as part of a region-wide plan known as the Cascadia Regional Advancement Program, or CRAP for short. This was a 10-year plan to improve the public transit in the area, linking together previously left-out neighborhoods with a vast system of buses and trains. To this day, the reasons are debated, but an above-ground metro line and station was chosen for North Arcadia, with the tracks running along one side of Clatsop Street. Clatsop Street had long been a center of culture and entertainment for North Arcadia, with many nightclubs and theaters specializing in mostly jazz music lining the corridor. The shops and homes nearby created a bustling, mixed-use walkable neighborhood with a vibrant street life. The construction of elevated tracks put an end to this. Although the new transit line was claimed to be brought in to provide economic development and progress to North Arcadia, it ended up doing the opposite. And some say this was an intentional instance of hostile planning practices at work. This caused many of the businesses on Clatsop Street to shutter, later to be replaced with warehouses, empty parking lots, and cheap, low-quality retail options, mostly owned by national chains. Today, only one such nightclub still exists, the Jazz Hole. Having been in operation since the 1930s, it is a reminder of what used to be in North Arcadia. In the 2010s, as housing affordability became an issue in Astoria and the urban core of Arcadia, renewed investment in the area brought new residents, mostly highly educated tech and finance workers, attracted to North Arcadia for its easy access to public transit and welcoming diverse culture. However, gentrification has priced out many long-term residents, and new housing developments in the area were mostly luxury apartment buildings, catering to upper-class buyers.
So don't make none, mobbing till the day come, till the day come. And the day came, still thumbing through the night, chance of light rain. I guess I really gotta show you about this Trinity King. I guess this is how it is when you from the island, man. So I took a flight to Tobago, FOG down. Man's on the ends, Londonville to the C-town. Remo with a schemer and a beamer with the T down. And she wanna know me, tell me, baby, what you need now. A little buddy. Bubble up your pop, mix the curry, go dummy. Whole fam, ice on no funny. From the Ville to the Ville, shout out Teddy, that's a tuggy. Still the same ones. When it come to chats, we don't take none.
One important holdout against gentrification in North Arcadia has been its many small local liquor and grocery stores. These neighborhood shops are spread throughout the area, allowing most people to get what they need without the use of a car. While the newer residents with money to burn get most things by delivery, North Arcadia's working class relies on these nodes of commerce not only for essentials, but they are also a pillar of the community, with most people being on a first-name basis with the owners and employees refusing to shop anywhere else. This phenomenon is affectionately known to locals as the corner store wars. Within each block, loyalty to their local convenience store runs deep, with people identifying as strongly with their chosen establishment as one would with their favorite sports team. corner of Clatsop Street and 6th Avenue used to be one of the most prosperous and vibrant areas in all of Arcadia. When the elevated metro line was built, a number of historic homes were demolished, leaving behind an empty dirt lot underneath the tracks. Over the years, this corner became a refuge for those displaced by skyrocketing housing costs, taking shelter from the elements under the massive concrete pillars where quaint homes once stood. The 6th and Clatsop camp was truly a place for those who progress left behind, forgotten by generations of city governments on both sides of the political spectrum. From the hands-off, pick-yourself-up-by-your-bootstraps conservatives who saw the people who lived there as degenerate drug addicts, to the well-meaning liberal administrations who hailed the addition of a train line as the first step in the transformation of North Arcadia into an urbanist paradise, all but ignoring the epidemic of homelessness going on just down the road from City Hall. A sizable percentage of new arrivals to Arcadia started coming in the 1920s as part of what was known as the Great Migration, in which millions of Black Americans moved from the South to manufacturing centers of the Northeast, Midwest, and West Coast. Arcadia was one such place. Being one of the busiest ports on the West Coast, this area has always been the economic center of the city, enabling generations of families to obtain a middle-class lifestyle working in the adjacent industries. The close proximity to the port contributes heavily to the industrial feel of North Arcadia, as after the construction of the metro tracks in the early 1970s and the State Route 104 freeway decades earlier, much of the land left behind was seen as undesirable for residential or commercial use. Another important industry in Arcadia is commercial fishing. Although technically the endpoint of the Skipanon River, which flows through town, the waterway leading into the Columbia River is locally known as the estuary. It is here a prosperous and thriving salmon fishery exists, taking advantage of the easy access to the cargo rail line leading into the port. Fresh fish is delivered and processed in nearby warehouses and shipped via rail outside the city overland and to the nearby fish factory and cargo terminals in the port. In recent years, the estuary has become seen as an extremely desirable place to live, contributing to it becoming more residential in nature, with many mid-rise and high-rise condo buildings developing here in close proximity to the fishing harbor. This trendy neighborhood is home to some of the wealthiest people in North Arcadia, enjoying scenic views from their luxury apartments. The area between downtown and North Arcadia is colloquially known as Uptown. It is a more upscale, higher density neighborhood with its official border being Central Avenue. Central Avenue leads from the estuary in the west and goes along the northern shores of Lake Warren in the center of town. It is one of the main commercial corridors in Arcadia and is lined with many trendy coffee shops, restaurants, and bars, bringing in a diverse clientele from both North Arcadia and Uptown. Central Avenue is what Clatsop Street used to be, the entertainment hub of Arcadia. The stretch of Central between Lakeshore Drive and Port Street being one of the most popular nightlife locations in the entire Cascadia Bay region. Because of its location at the edge of a more politically powerful upscale neighborhood closer to downtown, the metro tracks were tunneled underneath it, sparing it the fate of nearby Clatsop Street.
It feels kinda weird, and I wonder, do you ever think of me too? Now you're playing with the big boys, finally got some big toys, making all your girls spoiled. Daddy's got it all solved. I was never your choice, but I hope you're happy. I hope you are happy. When I come and go, you told me you would not succeed. Not like your friends with super wealthy families. Tears in your eyes, you set the bar kinda high. Would do anything to forget your father's goodbye.
A relatively new development, the Skippon Harbor neighborhood was developed with the intent of bringing in more tourism to Arcadia, with a cruise ship port and several hotels for visitors, as well as a few mid-rise condo buildings, many of which were reserved by the city as affordable housing units, particularly meant to enable those who worked at the harbor and in the nearby hotels to have a place to live within walking distance of their place of employment. Although not as popular with tourists as nearby Astoria, Arcadia is seen as an up-and-coming destination because of its proximity to the natural beauty of the waterways and forests that surround the city, as well as beautiful beaches just to the west. Skippon Harbor also has a waterfront bike path, enabling tourists and residents alike to get some exercise while taking in scenic views of the river and the surrounding city. This was part of a project to encourage biking throughout Arcadia, connecting up to a citywide network of protected bike lanes, in particular along Harbor Street, one of the main thoroughfares connecting to downtown. While the changes to North Arcadia over the decades were far from perfect, the city has made genuine efforts over time to help revitalize this long-neglected part of town, with new housing and improvements to its public transit system and network of bike lanes. Although mistakes were made in the past in the name of progress, the area is enjoying somewhat of a renaissance, with both longtime residents and new arrivals working together to make their home a better place for everyone. A couple of quick channel updates while we watch these cinematics. I'm about to hit 10,000 subscribers within the next couple of weeks, and I'd love to do something real special for everyone to celebrate. And I've got a couple of fun things planned, so be sure to join my Discord to stay up to date. I'll leave a link in the pinned comment below. And if you haven't already, check out my other series of Saltaire. It's a modded series based on Salt Lake City. And as always, please, don't forget to like and subscribe for more episodes of Cascadia Bay.